Pandas and tigers are what most people picture when they hear the words wildlife conservation. These beautiful, charismatic animals are also known as flagship species and are adored by people around the world. Although pandas and tigers are well loved by almost everyone, there's often controversy among conservationists regarding flagship species. Scientists question whether it's fair to focus so much attention and so many resources on certain species when there are many others that need protection as well. I was curious about what Dr. Stuart Pym, the Doris Duke Chair of Conservation at the Nicholas School of Environment at Duke University, had to say regarding the importance of flagship species such as tigers and pandas.
Well, they're important in themselves. They are spectacular animals. They're also part of our culture and our heritage. And if we lose them, we lose an important part of who we are. But they also protect a lot of other species in a lot of other places. Work done by Professor Lee and I, shown, for example, that by protecting giant pandas, you protect 70% of the other vertebrate species that live in China.
Most of us have never encountered a real tiger or panda in the wild. Yet human-wildlife conflicts are a genuine concern for communities of people that live in close proximity to protected areas. These dynamic conflicts are one of the greatest issues in the field of conservation today, and they can only be solved with comprehensive solutions that include policy, science, and the local people.
Tigers and pandas seem wonderful when you don't have to live next to them. If you live next to a panda, it probably restricts what you do. You probably can't go and chop the forest down. If you live next to a tiger, it can not only kill you, it can kill your livestock. So if we're managing these species, we have to find solutions that make it worthwhile to the people who live near them. We have to recognize that human-wildlife conflict is a problem and seek methods to minimize it. We should compensate people if those animals destroy their livestock. And here in China, we need to be cognizant of the fact that people may love pandas, but they also have to eat and they have to have livelihoods.
As a graduate student in Duke Kunshan University's International Master of Environmental Policy program and a member of Dr. Binbin Lee's conservation lab there, I had the opportunity to explore this issue even further. We started in and around the mountainous bamboo forests of Wanglong National Nature Reserve in Sichuan Province, China. The main issue in Sichuan is that free-ranging livestock encroach on panda habitat by eating the bamboo forests. Here, my colleagues and I studied the impacts of livestock overgrazing by designing and conducting ecological and household surveys. I then traveled to the southern India state of Karnataka to collaborate with an NGO called the Center for Wildlife Studies, India. We spent a month in Nagarhole and Bandipur national parks, which also serve as tiger reserves. The incredible staff and volunteers at the local NGO helped me to conduct socioeconomic household surveys to assess the situation of livestock predation by Bengal tigers and leopards that were living in the reserves. So why did we choose to compare India and China? Some similarities are that both areas deal with livestock conflicts near protected areas and involve flagship species. Dr. Binbin Lee, my professor and advisor, expands upon our reasoning.
So China and India are different in many ways, but they are similar in certain directions. For example, they're all developing countries with a lot of problems with the population growth. And one of the things they are in similarity is the people around the nature reserves or protected areas, they have a lot of livestock. So how the livestock influence flagship species conservation, for example, tiger and pandas, are very interesting questions. Although they're different in many ways, but it will be interesting to see what are the similarities and how the differences can drive different management suggestions or future.
We hope that the results of our study can lead to a deeper understanding of human-wildlife conflicts in both India and China. The ultimate goal of our research team is to guide policymakers in forming solutions that support communities and wildlife at the same time.